So welcome to a little longer demonstration of the possibilities of TreeCAD. In this case we show you some opportunities from a catalog. So first, on the right side you see all the preferences where you can change and edit the colors, your countertops, the thickness. So every construction that follows now are connected to the preferences. This is the same value since you change it in a single item or in the preferences. Let's start with a little example for a kitchen. You see a simple item with one door and one shelf. The system of TreeCAD is that all the production data are included in the catalog. After the explosion view, you will see our generic graphical list with all the drilling, all routing, and all process independent from the machine. So let's come back to our little cabinet, and we want now to show in which way you can edit this item. We show you here how we use our draggers to change the dimension in brightness, thickness, height, in every direction you want it. But even from this kind of prototype, you see that we can make or generate a high board out of a single floor standing cabinet. The floor standing item which we generated before has a countertop, so we don't want it in our high board. We change all the parameters which are necessary to do a construction which is more like connected to a high board. After this, we open the door and we have a high board with door and one shelf in the bottom. You see our high board at this time has only one division, but you see it's very easy to put on more than one shelf. So you have different regions now that you can configure each by each in different steps. So what can we do with this item? We show you some possibilities, and first we do some drillings. We can do a raster drilling like 32 millimeters just on clicking. You see that also the shelves didn't matter what it was placed before, connected now to the drilling of this raster. Let's see how this item looks now in the graphical part list. You see all single plates, items, shelves, sides, whatever, and you see the serious drilling of the 32 millimeter with every dimension. After this, you have now an item that you can store as a new item. You can put doors on or drawers, we show you later, and you have always, like before, the explosion view of our job. So let's go on our simple example and we work with zone. So first we define a simple drawer with a special site. This can be in a raster in a predefined way or individual, doesn't matter. So after this we generate a new zone. Is filled up with the rest of the remaining space, but later can be specified like before in drawers or any other part you want to define. Next zone is quickly done like before. In this case we decide to put in an appliance. It can be from a built-in catalog or from the web. In this case we decide for an oven. And again we fill up the remaining space with a new zone. In this case first it is a door. The last remaining part in our construction should be a door. In this case we decide for a flap and we decide for a shared flap. So we can see the opening in the same time we do the construction. Maybe you have seen some other videos where we show the possibilities, not only to put standard element, but take elements and items to place in our furniture coming from our web catalog. In this case, we simply defined a special drawer system which we can define for every zone. We can choose a lot of items and real construction from the web catalog. And we can do this zone by zone. So we can repeat these many times to choose a drawer, ovens, or whatever is needed. So in the opening of the furniture, you see now we have real construction and movement that is connected to the items we place inside as an interior to the cabinet. Also, the constructing types has a big influence to our construction. When you see in the job view, we have here a special standard construction for our dowels, which are defined by rules, like 3 dowels per side. But also in the upper part of the drawer, you see the special definition. So we changed now this construction of dowels and confirmates to cam fittings. After generating the list on the bottom, we can have a job view to all the changing. So here you see exactly what you are doing with your construction. And it changed all the time online, so never you need to generate new bill of material or item parts. Everything is generated online when you need it. So we come back to the first furniture we put into the drawings. And we show you now how to generate total different items from one prototype inside the catalog. So in this case, we don't want a construction with plinth at side, but we close it with different options, like, for example, a close left side, which can be changed in color, in whatever you want to change. Naturally, we can do changes on a single item or even on all items. To have a better view on this, we just put in 2 new elements, which have some appliance like sinks a little later. And in this one, we close only the right side and change it also to the colors of the doors or the furniture construction that we made before. So now we prepare the placement of the sink. In our construction, we have just simple items. So we can change the item or just replace it with a new element that is special constructed to put in sinks. To place sinks, we go on accessory, or we can choose from web catalog. We decide the space we want to do the montage of the sink, and after recalculating the item or building a job, you see it's really put in a 3-dimensional sink, and you can see the hole in the countertop, as you need to cut it a little later when you deliver. So let's leave the construction and editing of a single item and go to a complete kitchen, where we want to show you the possibilities of changing, of renderings, of lighting, whatever you want to do. So we don't want to bother you in this video with constructing by putting item and by item together to make a complete kitchen. In this case, we choose some objects, and you have the possibilities to edit this in the pre-definition. So in the same way, you can change single items, you can change a group, and you can make this with attribute, or you apply this changing. The list is generated, which shows you the item that is changed, and now you have in some seconds a new color on this kind of furniture. As you see, at all time you are connected to the render option, so you can after designing your furniture work in a very short time on a nice presentation. This should be enough at this time for kitchen. So let's move a little to the constructing part of another important part, which is closet. We will work in the same catalog as before with kitchen, but at this time we choose the closets construction. You found a lot of prototypes for closets. Here in this case you can even start with a simple rectangle that you can add later. You see by opening the doors that we have just a wardrobe with 3 parts, nothing inside, no special construction. After this now we go to the draggers, and on the draggers you found all the possibilities to change slopes or angle. So even when you put in the standard way, you can change this very easy later, and you can do this in all directions and all dimensions. Naturally, you can change every value, also concrete, by typing in a number like a millimeter. So you can use draggers as well as values in the property tables. In the beginning, this construction contains only a single frame construction, but as you see, you can change it to a real frame construction, which has an outside frame and an inside frame. Also change all the connections on the corner First of all global, or later in a very individual way. So you can choose any kind of connections free to the place where you want to place it. As explained, you can do this global. Pressing this cross, you move to an individual mode where you see the list is changed and you found every single value for every single corner. Even much more and very individual constructing are possible. All belongs to the definition in the catalog. And again, in the generic catalog, we do a lot of predefinitions that you can use without creating rules in a catalog. In the construction type, you can also change to modules. So if your construction has only rectangled cabinets and the door are only fill up the angles, you can do this with a simple click. The program calculates the optimized size of the rectangle behind the doors. Naturally, you can switch back to the module construction later. So after this, you have still angles in the base construction of your frame and your closets. So let's move now to the interior part of the closets. There is a special point connected in the menu. So when you choose what you want to add, you can first select the part where you want to put it in. It is directly placed in the same way. After this, you have different division that you can divide all. Again, you can delete or just add new dividing into an existing dividing. Here we show you how to change it only with one shelf. After this, you can place other dividers at other places. Naturally, you can also close top by pressing one single point. To have dividers inside dividers is one possibility, but you can change it individual. So we delete only one divider to put now some individual parts in. In this case, it can be shelves, but it can also mean spaces to put drawers later. The construction is as individual as you want it. And even if you make a mistake on one part of the divider, like we see here, you can delete it later by one click. You can add every construction that is pre-selected in the catalog, and we have a lot of material built in for you that you can use. You can just watch this video a little, so you see a lot of possibilities in straight part, in angle parts, by dividing and subdividing, in concrete numbers like 3 by 3, or just with draggers. So at the end, you might get the result you want to have. Just have a look. So you want to use the door now for the construction. Same easiest way. Just select the door function after the space where you want to place the door, and the door is placed. After this, you can use the opening function to show all the movements in this part. But first we change the material and then we open the door. So we choose in this case an orange one to show you better what has changed. We can do this a lot of time with every single space in our construction, or we can just copy elements. So we use the door, even if it has total different dimension. We copy the door to other spaces, and after this, you see, we can open it in the same way. Time to place some drawers in the middle section. Just like before, we choose the space, and after clicking, the drawer is put in. As we have 3 parts for drawers now, we use also again the copy function after editing the color. The material here in this one should be the same than the doors. Okay, once placed, you copy with all dimensions, all attributes, all functionality to other spaces. Great functionality. In the last pass, we will show you some interior that you can get from a web catalog or from an inside appliance. In this first example, we placed just some poles to use it for your closets, to hang into the closets. So you can do it in every part, like you see, like the upper. Use a copy function or place it separately on the other part. Now we want to go down to next point, which is also important because you can use third-party items, or if you have a catalog for 3D, you use, for example, some baskets to put into your drawing. Just like again, you choose the space, click on the space, and the items are placed. You can copy or use the same element, which you see has movement, to the upper place, so you can build a battery or a group of basket you want to add. Same way, choose the space, click on the item, and place it in the space free on every position you want to have it. You see also in these accessories, the items have full movement functions. Let's go to the point where we started with just 3 simple doors. We want to show you in some spaces, not on the retailer, but on the color and material editor. You see here you have simple standard colors, or later you can decide to choose material from a special supplier that you can integrate into your catalog, or use it from the web catalog. You see you can not only change the doors, but also the box, the construction, or your cabinet, the shelves, everything you want to change. After editing this, your result should be okay. So really our video gets a little longer. So if you are only interested to see construction like closets and kitchen, you don't need to follow me on the next point where I explain how to make a furniture from scratch. So this is the answer to all questions of the customer, how to manage data and how many work it is to create a catalog. So naturally you can start from predefined furniture, or you construct here individual plates and copy one left side to use it as a right side. Now we place a bottom. After this we can have first possibilities on the dragger, because all the parts all time are connected. It is nothing really spectacular, but with the dragger you found also connecting points, so you don't have to find and search and measure your dimension of connecting parts. We always generate the connecting point to the other parts automatically. Naturally we need to place a top. In this case we don't want a full top, so we change this very simple to a construction which we can use later for other items. Like before, we can use draggers, or we can use concrete values coming from a table, like you see in this example. And now we manage the construction for an item where we can place sinks or ovens later. Very easy to do this kind of construction. Okay, next in our construction we are missing a back plate. This one is still placed in the open space. So you see again here the red and yellow points for dragging, and you will easily find the way of the right connection to the top, the left and right side, and to the bottom. Naturally our back plate is a little too thick, so we change it to 4 mm and also move it inside the construction 10 mm, and it generates all the construction that is necessary to produce it. The next step is the construction of a plinth. So we take again a plate like before, we place it. In this case we take the dimensions from the top, so it starts a little like a door or looks like a drawer later. It's only to connect the dimensions. We can move this outside and later place it on the position we want to use it. In this case it is easier to move the whole item 100 mm up, place the plinth in the right height position, and later pull it back to 60 mm away from the front. This item requires a countertop because it is made for use in the kitchen for sinks and oven. We just choose the countertop functionality, and you can follow how to adjust and place the countertop in the right place of the item. You see, you can use draggers or concrete dimension. Every detail can be managed. You see, the countertop at this time is a little too short. You fix it with the draggers on both sides, naturally. So at the end, we have a countertop which is connected in the right way to the furniture. After finding and defining the right position of the countertop, we move to the production process. Naturally, when we start from scratch, we didn't have any dimensioning for dowels, for tools, for connection. So we choose the way we want to connect the part together. So in many cases, it will be dowels, but it can also be routing functionality. What you like, we can do. And even much better to say, you can do. After a little training, you are very professional in this kind of construction. So the routing is done in the same way, just clicking on the parts. Let's have a view now on the explosion view. You see the dowels, you see the specification of the backside. We go to the job and the list. Here you see drillings, dimensions, and even in this case, the blue line for the routing. Okay, the basic of the box is ready. So now we want at the end to place a shelf. Just follow this video. I leave you for 20 seconds. And we place a shelf. First, it doesn't matter where we place it. We can do the right placement later. You see, all the dragger points helps us a lot, connecting the shelf to the right place. In this case, our shelf should be connected to the left and right side, but is a little back. Here we go. So you see the full construction of the shelf. You can lift it up, you can double, you can check the dowels, whatever you want to do. Remaining now is naturally to show you how this item, which can be filled up with doors or with other details, inside your catalog or library. After marking all, you just give your item a name. In this case, it is called Test 01. You give a description, also you can put remarks on, and you can add some information. You see on the right side the definition of the item, where it's used as base units or how you can use it in this case. With our item, we use it just as a prototype. After saving it, we found it in our catalog. So when reopening the catalog, like we go here, we have a lot of groups and items where we place. We found it in the technical catalog under other. You just scroll down and have your item and can place it like every other standard element. Let's continue a little on this individual construction, and we will show you how to manage to make a hole, for example, a round or rectangle into a plate. So cutting on this item is very easy to do because we have a special tool for it, a special designer with some predefined construction like rectangle, like circles and whatever. So after definition of this hole, in this case a circle, you place it on the back. You proceed with the construction and see it direct inside the furniture. It is all made in 3D on your item. Naturally, you also see this hole in the graphical part list, which you must prepare and use for sending CNC data to your machine. Nothing easier than this. A lot of customers ask how to construct countertop because, especially for kitchen, it is a really special topic. So we explain you in two examples, one in an existing construction and in another one, how to handle individual plates that are not generated direct by the item. There is a lot of possibility like this tool where you can place a countertop. Naturally, you need to fix a little the points where it is connected. Don't care, it is not important to have all the direct points like highness in the beginning. You just finish with the first points to define the contour of your countertop. We go on with more definition after the countertop is generated. You see the thickness of 10 millimeters is not enough. We have a special kind of countertop, which we define in this case as 38 millimeters. You see now there is the connection of the plate, but there is some other things which looks a little strained, like the stripe. So first we can define the material of the countertop. Here is some problem with the edges. We have to edit this. In this case we really are specialists on our countertops, so we can type in the edge. You see that the color and the edge change immediately. But naturally you can also choose a special profile for the countertop, which you can see in detail when we zoom in a little later. We need to recalculate to attach all information to the countertop we just put in. And naturally you see the hole that we produced, or even the picture of where we have edges and where we have connecting. In this case red are connecting plates, this is the other side, and the blue one has real edges. Now we start to produce an individual countertop, which may be used for corners in 90 degrees. So we design a corner which 45 degrees on one plate, and after this we place another one to be connected to this plate later. So editing the single part is very easy. You can change the contour in the way you want it. After this you use the rotation tool with showing the angles, and you connect the two plates together. After this you can edit the plate by stretching with draggers or real dimension. We want to show you we have at this time three types of connection of countertops, of two different countertops, which can be a connection, an edge, or there is nothing to do, which means there is no edging, no cutting, because it's, for example, connected to the wall inside the house. This means you can define separate connection types for all edges on every countertop. After recalculating the tool, you have naturally the drawings for a single side or for both of the plates together. Once we have defined the countertop, we can use the tool to cut holes into the countertop. This is a special tool where you place a rectangle, for example. This is necessary when you don't have a special sink which has 3D information, and bring this 3D information by attaching the sink to the countertop, or you use an oven. Here you see you have some geometrical construction like rectangles, rounded rectangles, or circle. After placing it, the hole will be cut into the countertop. After placing the hole with the exact value by dragging, you naturally have everything in your drawing like before. But as we told you before, you can use naturally items from the catalog like oven, like sink to place it also in this independent countertop. Has nothing to do if you have an existing of a real item or closet. You just use the appliance like oven or sink to cut the right holes into the plate. Is also important for company who do the production of the plates outside, or even only do production of countertops. They can use TreeCut in a very great way. So you just spent close to half an hour with us. You have enough of video now, or you want to follow other videos, just do it. We like to present TreeCut.